What's going on, everybody? This is Waning Moonlight, and today we are ranking every boss in Elden Ring nightreign. And by every boss, I just mean the Night Lords. Now, of course, some of you may say this is just my opinion, but no, it's me. I am ranking by just pure facts. This is going to be universal for everybody, so trust me, this is the only ranking video you gotta watch for it. And because of that, you might as well like and subscribe for more. Now, what goes into the rankings is going to be quite simple. A cool design, how the boss fight goes, do they have some bad moves? Is it annoying to go against? And 3, their relic for their right, or the rights that we can do. If I'm going to spend like 40 minutes to get to a boss, spend however long trying to beat him, and then their relic is terrible, then I just wasted my time. And that's gonna make me dislike the boss. And I'm sure everyone else is like that. So, with all that kind of out of the way and understood, it's time to get on to number 8. Coming in at number 8, we have the Equilibrium Beast. Now, design-wise, he actually reminds me of the story from H.P. Lovecraft, where they had like this goat man who was going to destroy the world. I can't think of what it's called, and I don't know what else to Google other than goat man, so that's probably not very helpful. In terms of fight though, not very fun. First off, he offers you a deal, which to your first time, you won't know that all these deals have consequences, so I don't blame that on him. Of course, that's supposed to be the fun mechanic. You can make it work. But I could see that screwing over some people. And, okay, maybe it screwed me over a little bit too, first time around. But anyways, the fight itself, he's good at range and close up. He can hit you with madness from legitimately extremely far away, so ranged isn't a good option to fight him with. And then you think, oh, he's a ranged fighter, let me fight him close up, but then he's just gonna whack you with his stick. So no matter where you try and fight him, he's got a counter. And now that does make him a more difficult boss, so I'm not complaining over difficulty per se, more of just the balancing of it. There was actually a glitch up until yesterday where if you broke his shell, he would go on a rampage and he could spam the same move. I've seen a clip where it lasted literally for 2 minutes. He would just jump around over and over and over and over with no stop, and I thought that was crazy. But that has been patched out, so I'm not gonna hold that against him because it wasn't intentional, but still. But for your endeavors, if you dare to take him down, you get the Knight of the Demon, which gives you a discount at shops. A gesture, cross legs, builds up madness, and madness restores FP. Which, personally, I don't even use FP unless I'm playing the Recluse or Revenant, which I just realized both magic classes start with an R. But even then, the Recluse can save her own magic, and the Revenant, could use it, but still, not 100% necessary. But yeah, for all the madness build-up, to me, a not very balanced fight. I'm not a big fan of this guy, and that's why I'm putting him at number 8. Coming in at number 7, we have Adele, Baron of the Night. Design-wise, it's Gaping Dragon, but vertical horizontal instead of vertical, which is alright. But part of his design, to me, I don't know if this is gonna make sense, but he just looks so floppy. Every part of him just looks like he's flopping around, and it's just so weird to look at. I don't hate it, but I also don't really like it. Moveset wise, it's alright. He does a lot of bites and charges. What gets me about the charges is just, it's a pretty big hitbox for it. I mean, of course it is. I mean, like, look at that mouth. But that doesn't mean it's that fun. Now, and then in the second phase, he gets a lot of AoEs and lightning, which ain't too bad. Really, I don't like dislike this boss. Don't really hate it, but it's just, you know, just number 7. Someone had to go there. I should probably clarify, I don't like heavily dislike any of these bosses. I do enjoy every Night Lord, but you know, someone has to be down on the ranks. Now, what do you get for beating him? Well, you get the Knight of the Baron. Improved critical hits. Arc Gauge fills moderately on critical hits, and critical hits boost stamina recovery speed. Now, if you look at this guy, I could not tell you what about him deals with critical hits other than when we do them on him. But I guess whatever. I guess they couldn't give us an increased bite attack. But one interaction I do like about this boss is when you poison him. If you had not done it yourself, if you poison this guy, he actually will kind of stand there and start throwing up. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's kind of weird. I've never made a boss sick before. And because of that, I did think it was a little interesting little boss interaction. And that's one thing I like about nightreign. The interactions with the boss's weakness actually does something. And I like that a lot of the bosses do that. But this one I think has one of the more noticeable versions of it. But other than that, yeah, that's the Dell of the Night. And let's see what's in number 6. Coming in at number 6, we have no one else but Mothra, and of course their tag team duo, the Scorpion from Skyward Sword. That's all I see when I see this guy. And this boss fight, maybe it's just me, but I didn't think they were that bad. But I could see why some people may not like this if you do not have a ranged person in the party. See, obviously fighting them, they both have a lot of AoEs going on. That giant scorpion does a lot of rocks. The bug, Mothra, they do a lot of lasers and like poison the area. Which, obviously, if nobody's doing ranged and everybody's focusing on the scorpion, the moth is going to do what they want to do and just target everybody. Which is why I think it was good. I mean, I play the range so I could draw the aggro, and that's what made this boss fight kind of more interesting. While I, the range player, had a 1v1 with Mothra, the other two distracted the Scorpion so we could actually spread the aggro out. So, other than that, that doesn't mean I like how this boss plays. If you're not paying attention, you can get tag team, getting hit from rocks, and then poison spread all over the area, and then you're kind of screwed over. But the fact that there are some good ways around that make it not too terrible. What you get from these two is the Knight of the Wise. Increase maximum FP, starting armament inflicts poison and rot in the vicinity increase attack power. That is interesting at the very least. It's a poison build to start you off with if you like doing those. Personally, I don't really rock with poison like that. Rot's cool, but it doesn't start with rot. And I at the very least, have not seen an armament that starts with rot. And even if I did, I don't know if you can have a weapon start with both rot and poison. I don't know if you could like mix things up like that. I don't believe so, at least. But it's okay. If you like that build, it's probably good for you. I don't really care for it. And the maximum FP doesn't really affect me because, you know, I'm playing the bow guy. So other than that, this boss is alright. I really like their second phase. because you're ready for something. Obviously the land changes and you see the ultimate beast. The moth is riding the scorpion. That's peak cinema right there. But yeah, that's about it. So it's time to go on to number 5. Coming in at number 5, we have the boss that to me is just a definition of, yeah, alright. And that's the ice dragon. Now, dragons are cool. Everyone knows it. That's a fact. You play medieval fantasy games, you're gonna like dragons. However, the thing about this guy is, I feel like if you Google ice dragon, this is exactly what would come up. This is the textbook definition of an ice dragon. It's white. It breathes ice. That's it. I mean, like, I don't know if it's like, this isn't like a complaint. It's just, I don't know what to say that wouldn't be so basic, because this guy's just basic as it comes. It's still cool. I love snow-themed areas, snow-themed bosses, so I don't dislike it. I just wish there was, I don't know, something a little more, I don't know if I should say creative or original, just something that makes him stand out, is what I'll say. For beating him, we have Knight of the Miasma. Nearby frostbite conceals self. So our weapon starts with Chilling Mist, and attack power up when facing frostbitten afflicted enemy. Now that is interesting, because that could be a build all on its own. Throw in some other stuff maybe, and that can be not too bad of a build. Frostbite something, go invisible. Put that on the Duchess and nobody's seeing you all game. And that'll be kind of funny. But yeah, that's all I have to say about this guy. His giant ice mist into the ice tree branches, that's what I'm going to call that, falling, is a crazy surprise on your first run if you don't see it coming. But other than that, that's all I gotta say. It's time to look on to number 4. Coming in at number 4, we have the very first boss, Cerberus. Now, these guys are pretty interesting. I don't know if it's true, but I heard that like this character was based off a cut Bloodborne boss. And if that's true, somebody let me know. This is just something I heard secondhand. And I like Bloodborne, so of course, I think that would be pretty cool. Obviously, though, I more think of Sif, the dog with a sword. Which, I mean, yeah. That's, so in a basic sense, it's Sif with just 2 extra heads. And a lot less school lore. Or maybe it has school lore. I don't know it yet. Moveset-wise, it just bites, lunges around, and throws the sword. It does exactly what you would expect it to. Except for the fact that it can split into 3 separate dogs. In which case, they all charge at you. It can also breathe fire, which is pretty cool. Now, if you remember earlier, I had mentioned that Adele, when poisoned, will vomit. Because that's the weakness of this boss. Or that boss. But this one's weak to holding. I'm curious. Does it have a special interaction if you hit it with holy damage? I never had holy when facing him. I don't know if anyone else did, so if something happens, let me know. I'm curious. Other than that, what you get for beating him is pretty basic. Stamina recovered with each successful attack, and starting armament deals fire damage. His is the only relic that only has 2 abilities, which is kind of interesting, at least to me. I don't know why it's the only one that has 2, or why it only has 2. It's just really random. But yeah, that's all I gotta say about Cerberus. Pretty cool. And with him down, you know what we have left? We only got 3 more bosses to go. So it's time to see who got number 3. Coming in our marvelous 3rd place, we have no one else than Centaur Man over here. Now, originally, I didn't think much on this guy. It's like, yeah, it's a Centaur. He looks pretty cool armored up. But the more I look back on it, I'm like, man, this fight's actually pretty cool. First off, he has the wind attacks like Nameless King does. And if you didn't know, Nameless King's one of my favorite bosses in the Dark Souls games. But then, he also has his, like, he has, like, this holy weapons that sprout up. He has, like, a holy charge. So he's basically like a paladin centaur. That's kind of cool. If you hit him with his weakness, which is lightning, you can kind of shock him out of this state. I'm like, yo, it's pretty cool actually. To have that sort of interaction with electricity. Like, typically, lightning damage, you know, it's just super effective to some things. But to see it actually shock someone, that's awesome. So, mad respect to them adding that detail. And then to also just, again, keep talking about the moveset, the holy weapons that he sprouts up, the arm he grows back in his second phase. It makes him look like just a wicked cool warrior. So I'm a big fan of this guy. The charm you get from him, Knight of the Champion, increases maximum stamina. Guard counters is given a boost based on current HP, and HP restoration upon thrust and counterattack. Basically, the Guardian got a buff. If you don't do shield counters, or sorry, you know, just in general, if you're not playing Guardian, that's going to be kind of useless. If you don't use shield counters, it's going to be pretty useless. And if you don't use a thrusting weapon, yeah. So all in all, it definitely has a specific build in mind. A little bit more than some of the others, because it's meant for a starting character, but it's still pretty cool. And for all those reasons, that's why he's number 3. Now, there are 2 bosses left. If you've paid attention to the game, you can know who the last 2 are. So take a quick guess down below. Who's going to be number 2? Who's going to be number 1? Did you make your guess? I don't feel like wasting time, so just leave a comment, or like pause the video, leave a comment, and it's time to see who got number 2. The surprise of the century, but this little jellyfish over here gets the number 2 spot. Some of you may be wondering, why is that? It's a jellyfish. What did it do special? And that's quite a few things. One is look like a jellyfish. That's hilarious. I think it's kind of funny. 2, its moveset's actually really interesting. I think it made a flying boss good for everybody to fight. See, Augur likes to spawn a lot of things. Little squids. Well actually, jellyfish. Sometimes it makes tentacles pop out of the ground. Now, if you fight those things, the damage you deal to them go back and affect Augur. And that is just so cool. That makes a good way to have a boss that runs around a little bit still take damage from the other people fighting it. But someone like me who plays the Iron Eye can just focus on the main man. And maybe it's just me, but I just think the way it moves still looks so cool. It's magnificent to see. The one drawback about this boss is, yeah, it inflicts sleep. Nobody likes sleep. I can't even defend that. And if that sleep makes you dislike the boss some, that's understandable. Now, what you also get for it, its Night Relic, in my personal opinion, is the best one in the game. Knight of the Fathom. Increases maximum FP, flasks also heal allies, and items confer effects to all nearby allies. That's just the ultimate support item. And because of that, I'm a big fan of it. Because that means our group can like kind of save some items that it needs to use. So that's pretty cool. And with all that said, we're about to get into number 1, which will be the final boss of the game. If you, for whatever reason, watch this video and haven't fought him and don't want spoilers, then this is your warning. You good? You gonna save this video for later? And just, I mean, you already know who's number 1, but you want to hear why I like him, right? I'm gonna assume you said yes. And if you haven't, you've probably clicked off. So, with all that said, it's time to look at number 1. So, you approach this man, and personally, he makes you think of Gale. Kind of slowly walks over to you. He doesn't really do much until you break him down. And maybe I've played enough From Software games, but it was pretty obvious to tell that wasn't it. The boss was a little too easy. And then he teleports you here, sword glowing, and kind of reveals it's the Moonlight Greatsword. That's awesome. Great introduction, this guy. Personally, if you've watched my channel before, you'll actually know that the Moonlight Greatsword is my favorite weapon ever. Not just From Software history, but legitimately my favorite weapon ever. So this was wicked cool to see. I know people have made replicas of the previous Moonlights. I hope someone makes one of this one. So design-wise, this guy, styling. Moveset-wise, wicked cool. Not only can he do the Moonlight Greatsword movesets from Bloodborne and Dark Souls 3, having both the lasers and the thrust, but he also can kind of like change elemental damage. He does like a giant AoE into the ground, and then he starts doing some poison. Then I've seen him switch to holy, or maybe it was lightning. Honestly, they look similar. It's hard to tell them apart. So no matter what, he's got some variety going on. But at base, he does magic damage, which is pretty good. Now, not only is his moveset really cool, but personally, I think he is like the most balanced boss actually in the game. The other bosses sometimes have some moves where I'm like, oh come on, it's a little too much. This guy seemed perfectly fair throughout the entire fight, and I really like that. Then when you finally beat him, you get Knight of the Lord, his relic. Switching weapons adds an affinity attack. Boosts attack power of the added affinity. Switching weapons boosts attack power. So you're telling me just hitting right on the D-pad twice boost my weapon? Just no matter what, that's a straight free upgrade. That's awesome. And I think honestly that is probably, I know I just said about augers, but this one is the most useful one in the game. The only people who couldn't use that would be magic users like Revenant and the Recluse. But just because they can't use it doesn't mean it's not like straight up busted. So yeah, those were my, I would say top 8 if they were the only 8. So that's my ranking of the 8 Night Lords. You agree? Disagree? Let me know down below. And of course, I said it 3 times already, but of course you definitely need a reminder to subscribe. I do a lot of challenge runs. I make pretty good videos, because it's me. Of course I'm going to say I make good videos. And so you should watch them. And if you watch them, then you should subscribe, obviously. And thank you for watching, of course, obviously. So I hope you had enjoyment, and I'll see you in the next one.